Pearl Harbor, the Nazis fought U.S. in the Battle of the Atlantic, war finally ended on May 8, 1945. June 6, 1944, Eisenhower sent troops behind German lines, bombarded St. Lo and Omaha Beach, became known as D-Day. Then on May 8, 1945, accepted Hitler's third surrender on VE Day. Hideki Tojo commanded Japanese dive bombers and warplanes to bomb Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Roosevelt then declared war on Japan for the loss of U.S.'s largest naval base. World War II in the Pacific started on April 18, 1942. Douglas MacArthur and Chester Nimitz were high-ranking officials. Turning point was Battle of Midway, where Allied troops regained control. War ended September 2nd after atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Roosevelt called for Japanese Americans to be put in internment camps starting on November 19, 1942. They're from California, Washington, Oregon, and Arizona. In 1944, Korematsu versus U.S. ruled internment was justified, ended in 1945. World War II on the home front began with fumigating jobs in 1942. Industry production went up and back down in 1944. Propaganda showed Hitler and Nazis doing horrible acts. Odied and set up rationing and gave Americans coupon books. Eleanor Roosevelt sympathized with their complaints. J. Robert Oppenheimer developed the atomic bomb. President Truman ordered Little Boy to be dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki 3 days later. Emperor Hirohito surrendered September 2, 1945. Cold War started in 1945 when Joseph Stalin took over European countries. Truman signed with the United Nations. Tensions between U.S. and Soviet Union gained because of their aims. UN was 50 nations who met in San Fran on August 25, 1945. Signed charter on June 26 was intended to promote peace. NATO was a defensive military alliance between two European countries, U.S. and Canada. It was signed April 4, 1949. Mao Zedong was communist, gained control of China in 1945, started civil war with nationalist Chiang Kai-shek, ended in 1949. On June 25, 1950, North Korea attacked the South. MacArthur held counterattack on September 15th and chased North Korea back across 30th parallel. In November, Chinese joined the North, ended in stalemate June 23, 1951. North and South signed armistice in July of 1953. On Joseph McCarthy accused Americans of being communists. Shows Democratic Party for allowing communist infiltration, started in 1950, ended in 1954. April 17th, 1961, Cuban exiles and U.S. military fought Cuban troops and Soviet tanks. Outcome embarrassed. JFK. Soviets gave Cuba missiles pointing at U.S. October 22nd, 1962. Premier Khrushchev offered to remove them if U.S. promised not to attack Cuba.
But they called old people ovens. They lived in places outside the city. In about the 70s, African Americans got what is for desegregation. They were called freedom riders. Minister, he advocated armed self-defense in March of 19 as their leader. They formed the Declaration of Independence.